What we have here is the DJI Mini 4 Pro, the latest and greatest from the great DJI company, and the predecessor, the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Both are still sold, and there is quite a price difference between the two. So in this video, I am going to help you decide which one is better for you. And if you already have this one, should you upgrade to the Mini 4 Pro? Okay, welcome to Drone and Tech Review. I am Francis, and I've been using these drones for quite a bit, and it's quite a dilemma which one to buy because this one is $959 and this one is $729, and they kind of look the same. So in this video, I'm going to give you 10 differences between the two, and it's going to help you decipher which one is important to you. If any of these differences are important to you, then perhaps you should buy the more expensive drone. There's a lot of videos out there already, but they always focus on just one part of this decision process, either just the image or the obstacle sensing. So what I'm going to do is quickly summarize the 10 differences between the two of them. Okay, the first, and I think the most important difference between the two is obstacle sensing. These are obstacle sensing drones. If you don't want obstacle sensing, you can do the Mini 3 or the Mini 2 or a lot of the clones, the Amazon clones. The real magic of these drones is they can avoid danger. They can fly themselves. And this one has full obstacle avoidance, and this one does not. This one has front, back, and bottom, but nothing on the side. So it is blind on the side. So it really doesn't have a good obstacle sensing system. So if that is important to you, avoiding obstacles, then the Mini 4 Pro. The second difference is the image quality on the Mini 4 Pro is better. It has 4K at 100 frames per second. This one has 4K 60 frames per second. So if you want slow-mo, this is good. And this has a little better dynamic range. So when there's light and shade, this one can capture both of them a little bit better than this. And the other thing on the image sensing is this one has better formats. It has the HDR format and the D-Log format. This one only has something called Cine-like. If you've never heard of these terms, then this is probably not important to you, or if you're not going to go pro or do some commercial work. But what D-Log format is a more of a raw format where you can color grade and really optimize the image. On that note, a little bonus is this one now has night shot, so it has better night shooting capability. They're very similar cameras, but what this does is it pumps up the ISO quite a bit, and it pumps up noise reduction. So it really gives you pretty darn good night photos and night video. Okay, the third reason to get the Mini 4 Pro is it has better self-flying modes. You know, things like master shots and quick shots, they're both here, but without obstacle avoidance, it's really a liability on the Mini 3. So often, basically, it can go around you, it can do all these patterns, film you like you're a professional, but if it can't see through the side, then it's going to run into a tree. And because these are automatic modes. So if that's important to you, a lot of self-flying modes, then the Mini 4 Pro is what you're looking for. The fourth difference between the two is subject tracking. The real magic of this drone is subject tracking, where you can follow a vehicle or a person and it can fly itself essentially. And this one, because it has full obstacle sensing, the subject tracking is much more sophisticated. This guy basically can just follow you from behind because it can't see through the sides, weaving through trees. He can follow you from behind. It does a pretty good job. And this one, it can follow you from behind, from the side, and the really cool stuff is it can now do two things. One is follow you in a circle. You can draw patterns on your remote, and this one will follow you. You have two concentric circles, and you can tell it where to go. And finally, just released on a firmware update is this now has an automatic mode where it can do all of the above
Tapping any dot on either
on its
circle
own.
can
It'll
change the
decide
tracking
which
Alternatively,
is which
dragging
shot
the in position
is
icon
most
over the
appropriate for
wheel
the
can also create a flight
setting,
route. The
and it'll do it on its own. The fifth feature that is compelling on the Mini 4 Pro is I'll bundle them together: waypoints and cruise control. So cruise control is just a little setting where you press a button and it's gonna go on its merry way where you last left it. So it's great for getting easy shots, quick shots that are very stable. Waypoints is a much more sophisticated feature where you can define on the map where it should go, and you can save these patterns, a kind of a flight path, so to speak. And not only are you saving the flight path, but you are saving the settings of the camera, where the camera is pointing. Let's say you want to run across a track, or bike across a track, and you just set the pattern, and it'll do it every time. And you could even do this with different seasons and whatnot. So it makes filming a much more consistent and in kind of a repeatable manner. The number six feature that's present on the Mini 4 Pro is a lot of graphics related to return to home and landing. Okay, so what is that? One of the cool features of both these drones is you can return to home. Anything happens, or you're done with your work, say return to home. And what this does is it gives you a flight path on your screen. These two have a screen, and it shows you where it's going to go through. So if there's a building or a lot of obstacles, you can make some arrangements. And the other thing is, as it lands, the camera points downwards, and you can see exactly where it's going to land, pretty much on the dot, and you can make adjustments, and it aids the flight quite well. Number seven, and this is hot off the presses, is this came on a firmware update. This one has two
environment
new
when landing.
features that it's
Due to the
compatible with.
limitations of GPS
One
precision,
is
there may
FPV
be small
goggles, so you can
deviations
fly this
between the set home
FPV
position
because it's now
and the
compatible with
actual
it,
landing
just on a
location.
firmware update.
You
The
can
other
press the
thing
flight pause
is
RTH
you can
button
now
again
see
to
what it
cancel
sees
return
on
to home.
obstacle avoidance,
In
meaning
order
it
to
has
avoid
cameras
any
here.
burns
You
caused
can
by
actually
overheating,
view
do
what the
not
cameras see on your screen right here. Mind you, they're black and white, but you get an idea of what it's seeing. Okay, number eight difference is they changed the remote. They now have the RC2 controller, where they used to have the RC controller right here. They look the same, but they're quite different. This one, the dead giveaway is it has these fold-up antennas that one doesn't. So this is the Mini 4 Pro remote right here. So it's a newer remote with an advanced protocol. And the biggest difference is it's a much stronger, cleaner signal. So this one had 10 kilometers of range. This one has 20 kilometers of range. And you're not really going to fly 20 kilometers away. But what that means is you have a cleaner, more powerful signal. So if you're in a city where there's a lot of interference, this one is going to do a lot better. The other thing is these are not compatible with each other. So let's say you have the Mini 5 Pro, Mini 6 Pro, they're probably going to use this remote only. It's not going to be compatible with this one. This is the new way that DJI is going with. All right, the ninth difference is a little bit of form factor difference, and I think too many YouTubers focus on this. And the first one is you'll see here, this one has feet on the arms, and that gives you is ultimate stability. On a table, not a big deal, but out there in the grass, in the dirt, this gives you a lot more stability. This one you can land and it'll topple over and hit the blades. So that's good. The other difference is this one has kind of a rudimentary cover right here, and this one has a bigger cover that you just kind of push into place. It's a lot easier to get in. And the last difference on form factor, or two differences. One is this one comes with a band now. When the arms are folded up, the blades kind of flop all over the place. So it comes with a band that is like with a little button, so you could close the clasp and the blades will be set in place. And the final difference is this guy has a light now, quite a powerful light. A little more powerful than your iPhone, and this one doesn't. And what that does is when you're landing, it'll automatically turn on. Or if you're flying at night and you can't see, this one, you could just keep the light on, and that way you can see your drone, or you can comply with laws. Okay, and the last difference is the price. So $959 for this guy, and this one is $729. So $230 of difference between the two. And the real obvious difference or decision for you guys is if you don't have either one, if you're just gonna buy one, this is the one you want. 10 differences that you might not know that you want, but they're significant enough that that $230 is not a big, not as big a deal. And the fact that everything is compatible with the future generation is key. Also, they are gonna keep uh, giving out features and updates, and they're really just gonna be compatible with this one. I think this one is legacy with the Mini 3 and the Mini 2. They'll keep selling them because for lower price points, but they're not gonna update them. So everything the DJI's future is on this one. Uh, so definitely get this one if you don't have either one. But the bigger decision, the harder decision is what if you already own this? You know, you invested. This used to be 900 bucks back in the day, and you're like, oh, what can I do? Should I get that one? And the most common suggestion I'll give to you guys is no. If you are happy, if you're happy, you're flying, you're not missing anything, a lot of what I said doesn't tug at your heartstrings or it's not compelling to you, then don't upgrade. You're good with this one because otherwise you're gonna have to sell this, take a loss, and then buy the new one. You're probably gonna cost you $400 to $500 to do this upgrade. So maybe not worth the upgrade. But there are cases where, like me, I have this drone, and instantly when this came out, I bought it. Not because I'm a reviewer, but because there's one feature that I really needed, which was obstacle avoidance. You know, I do a lot of filming, self filming, a lot of biking, a lot of adventures, and I do need obstacle avoidance. And I found this obstacle avoidance is kind of half baked, and I really needed it to protect itself. And that's with the Mini 4 Pro. The other reason people get into the upgrading from 3 to 4 is if you really want the picture quality. You know, if you want that, the 4K 60 frames per second, dynamic range, the night shot, and the D-Log format, yeah, then you should go for the 4. But, you don't take it with a grain of salt. If what I've mentioned so far is not really speaking to you, then and you wanna and money's tight, then yeah, go for the Mini 3 Pro. Mini 3 or Mini 2 are options as well. But if this is your first purchase and you think you're gonna get into it, because you're already looking at the high end, Mini 4 Pro is amazing. Thanks a ton, everybody.